what the New York Knicks are currently. He was like, "I ain't got no problem." Come on, you got to think about. Here's the other thing that kind of bothered me a little bit. Like the more I heard it, it's like the Hawks have so many dudes that have seen D-League action. It's too
good. I saw you tweet that.
When you look at the Cavs roster, like look at that starting roster. You got a bunch of pros. You know, Mon Shumpert is a damn pro from day one.
The Georgia Tech.
J.R. Smith, pro from day one. Obviously, LeBron James, Kyrie, both of those dudes, number one overall picks. Kyrie and LeBron, number one overall picks. So my point is this:
Tristan Thompson, fourth overall pick.
So while we're having this conversation, let me say this: as much as you guys should have, and I'm gonna say should have enjoyed what you saw this year out of the Atlanta Hawks, because I know I damn sure did. I did. Understand the name on the back of the jersey matters like a mug in the NBA.
Yep, say that.
There's five players on the court, my man. It's 5 players. You got 2/5 of your lineup that are number one overall picks. 2 dudes. Let's keep it real. 2 dudes who played no college basketball. That Kyrie played 7 games, but who's counting?
Well, it was 7, yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's counting?
Because I don't even remember those games because they was at the
beginning.
He got hurt.
Right. He came back late for one, and they got bounced at the tournament or something crazy. Yeah, whatever.
And I think the only time I ever saw Kyrie Irving play in college was in like the EA Sports Maui Challenge where Duke was playing somebody. I don't even remember who they were playing, but that's the only time I ever saw that dude play.
Yeah, and somebody mentioned the other day. Somebody said something like the Hawks need to get that guy, and my immediate thought went to, and I tweeted back to him. I was like, but yeah, how does that guy fit into this system? Because what you have, like, there's a reason that Tim Duncan works as the guy, or worked so long as a guy in the system. Because Tim is not a dude that's worried about a brand or an image.
Say that you right now. I ain't never thought about that.
Yeah, because a couple years ago I brought it up. Remember we had the dude from San Antonio on. I asked him. I asked him how much does having Manu, Tony, and Tim being guys that aren't from the body of the United States. Like Tim is from obviously the Virgin Islands, which is a United States territory. But it couldn't be further from what, like say Rucker Park is. It couldn't be any. And plus, that dude's a swimmer. You feel me? And then you got Tony Parker, who's from France, and you got Manu Ginobili, who's a Spaniard. Like these dudes didn't come over here with that. What's that? Monestein. His last name is Monestein, the guy who does the play-by-play for San Antonio. When we talked to him that time. Yeah, remember I asked him about it that time, and he was like, "Yeah, that could be it. That's probably a big part of it. You got a bunch of dudes who don't have ego, and luckily, the Hawks were able to accomplish that. But the difference is you got 3 Hall of Famers out of that deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the Hawks getting that guy, who is it gonna be? Yeah, it's cool, and it's winning. It's a winning formula. But dudes, like, I don't care how much you want to talk to me about dudes worrying about, winning. Yeah, LeBron cares about winning. Of course he does. But he also cares about the LeBron James brand as well. He's the man who came out and he verbally said, I want to be the first $1 billion basketball player. That's what he said. You know what I mean? So, obviously he cares about that stuff.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, all these people you see on these commercials, it's just real. So coming to Atlanta.
What about a guy like a LaMarcus Aldridge? I mean, here's
the thing about LaMarcus Aldridge and a guy like that. Like, I need a guy who has the ball in his hands. Like, look at the guys that we're talking about that make the difference. Like right now in the playoffs, we had 4 teams left, right? Like one team didn't really have that guy, but then you got 2 dudes in Cleveland.
Well, there's 3 teams left technically.
Well, what I'm saying before, we had 4 teams, right? The 4 guys are 4 teams. The one team we're talking about now, the Hawks, who didn't have that quote unquote guy, right? You got the Cavs. You got basically 2 of those dudes. When Kyrie's right, Kyrie can't get no right. And that's the first thing I noticed last night. I was like, yeah, Jeff Teague, welcome to a real point guard school. Look at this dude come out after being off, knee banged up, and scored the first 5 points like it ain't nothing. Like he never missed a minute. That's real point guard school. And you got what's going on out in Golden State. Guys who can handle the basketball. Guys, Steph Curry, that is what he does. Who else we got? Obviously, James Harden. You see what I'm saying? So if you ask me about LaMarcus Aldridge, what I'll say to you is Nah, I need a dude who ain't got to worry about somebody giving him the basketball down the stretch. Like when we need that thing to go down, I need the dude that can catch the basketball and work and go to work.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that works in Bud's system, man.
Well, you got to be able to. You got to be if you're going for that guy. I mean, it got to be somebody. I mean that the mentality wise would have to be in the mold of somebody, as you just mentioned, the Tim Duncan. I mean,
and don't go on trees.
Right. I mean, because in this NBA at this day and time, I mean, everybody is concerned with the brand. Everybody, because a lot of these guys, like they got to get off. They got to get their shot off. Mm-hmm. They got to do this. They got to do that. So I really don't know. Now that you put it that way, I really don't like just thinking about any it guy right now in the league. Maybe Chris Bosh.
Yeah, and the dude that I mentioned it to, well, Chris Bosh just signed a 5-year deal. What the?
No. I'm just saying when I think about guys that will come in and be like that, because I've never got the impression that Chris Bosh is worried about his brand.
But you still got to give him the basketball, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he can get his shot though.
But you still got to give him the back. Like LaMarcus Aldridge. Like I'm gonna ask you this: what's the difference between Chris Bosh, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Al Horford? Like how many degrees of differentiation is between those three dudes? Honestly.
Well, I think. Well, I mean, especially with Bosh, because I mean, I've seen Bosh play probably just as much as I've seen Al Horford play. With Chris Bosh, I mean, he brings a different dimension to the game. I mean, now he's not a banger down low. Well, maybe a bad choice of words, but
you know what you mean.
Yeah, but I mean, he kind of spread the floor if the other team, as a big man checking him. I mean, because he'll play out in the perimeter and he can create situations where the power forward or the center have to come out there. I mean,
sound like you describing Al Horford, or like you describing LaMarcus Aldridge. You see what I'm saying? It's the same three dudes.
Yeah.
You feel me? So
that's what I tell you. Like I'm lost. Like
it's a conundrum. The dude who I said it to on Twitter yelled at me. Well, in my mind, he yelled at me. You know what I mean? He was like, well, I can't even find the tweet now. But whoever it was, when I mentioned that, when he posed the scenario, and I wasn't being a smart ass like I usually am. I was just like really like who is that dude and how does he fit? Because I don't see it happen. Like, for example, Lou Williams was that dude. Like, Lou Williams is a dude who could get his shot anytime. The current sixth man of the year. A dude who led the league, by the way, in clock winding down shots. That's something that people keep track of. And Lou Williams, by far, led the league in that category. He didn't hit a lot of them, but he led the league in taking them. But he's that guy. And the reason he had to lead his place is because he was a pound of basketball into the court guy. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't a guy who was in perpetual motion that really got down with the system. So,
well, here's the deal. Maybe, because I heard Joe say something last night. Where he talked about, everybody saying that a team without a superstar, can't win the finals or can't make it to the finals or win the finals. But, he was saying that he know that the Hawks, and it was so stupid because he was talking about in the 7-game series, he know the Hawks could win. I'm like, y'all just lost in the fourth. But anyway.
Yeah, that disqualifies you immediately.
Yeah, but the thing about it is maybe Coach Bud can make his name in the NBA by taking not superstars, but maybe that second tier guys like the Paul Millsaps and the Jeff Teagues and maybe you can, get you another guy like that.
I think he's done that though. I think Coach Bud has done that. He's made his name, but now he's getting over the hump.
You got to take it to the next level.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And maybe you find another one of those second tier guys.
Nah, the evidence is shown, man. The evidence is shown for years and years and years, and we've had this conversation before, you and I. That the evidence has shown in the NBA. You got to understand, it's 1/5 of your team. It's 20% of the guys on the court. That makes a difference. That's why the Cavs can suck balls when LeBron leaves and he comes back, and they're virtually. Let's keep it real. The real number one seed. If you take it from like the halfway point in the season to the end with the Cavs, you know what I mean. So he did that because they
went from fifth. They went from fifth because when he missed all those games, they dropped down to like fifth, fourth or fifth.
Well, then Toronto started sucking, and then everybody realized that the Wizards couldn't shoot free throws, couldn't shoot 3-pointers.
Remember the Wizards in Toronto were battling for second place the majority of the season.
Wasn't that a joke?
So, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, and it makes a difference. I just don't know where you get that guy, and of course you can get that guy, but the guy who buys in. You feel what I'm saying? The guy.
In what position? In what position? The two guard.
The three. That's the ball handler though. If he's a wing dude and handles the ball like Kevin Durant. But just a dude that can create his own shot without someone else having to get him the basketball is what I'm saying. Because that's what the league is right now. It's a perimeter wing guy league right now, and you got to be strong at that position. Like now, what the Hawks have is a bunch of dudes that's trying to do that. You got Paul Millsap, who, by the way, Paul Millsap has grown so much as a player since he's been in Atlanta. As far as his outside shot, his ball handling, even defensively, he's grown so much as a player. And this is why he's going to get good money this year because people now, one, he got out of Utah, so people got a chance to see him more. But now you can see the monumental improvements from him arriving in Atlanta to present day. Going back to talking about this Hawks roster, then I had a thought today about Kyle Korver, and the natural, I guess, equivalence has become, the Hawks and Spurs. Let me tell you who Kyle Korver is. Kyle Korver is Danny Green, but you know what the problem is? Danny Green doesn't start for that team.
Yeah.
But and the other thing that Danny Green is, he's a guy who's added to his game, who's realized that at some point people are going to make him put the ball on the court, and he's going to have to get to the rim and make people give him space for that 3-pointer, that spot up jump shot.
Yeah.
Kyle Korver's a nice player.
Nobody respects that dude though. As far as
they're gonna crowd him every time,
to put the ball on the court.
Especially when you're dealing with athletic wings like Iman Shumpert. He's gonna be stuck to you like glue. And Kyle Korver, not the most athletic of guys. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard.
That night JR went off with all those. What was that, game one? Where he went off with those 3-pointers?
It was. It was.
Game one. Just about every one of those shots was on Kyle Korver because he couldn't react quick enough.
Yeah. And Kyle's an effort dude. He's going to give you everything he got, but he's never.
Yeah, but he just wasn't quick enough, and it was like every time. He was right in front of JR. He just could not react fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I thought about that today. In this system, that's who he is. But the fact of the matter is, you rely on him. Like if Danny Green don't come to play one day, all right, cool. We got Patty Mills. We got Kawhi Leonard. We got a couple other dudes that if
it was like French fry. It's the whole French fry. It's the whole French fry scenario.
Right. Yeah. If he's here, cool. And it's gonna be delicious, and we're gonna tear it up. But if not, we move on. And Danny Green's been pretty consistent. Like I said, he's worked on his game, and he's enabled himself to put the ball on the court as well. But there is still that thing with Kyle Korver that I don't think he'll have that. Like Kyle Korver, in all honesty, when you look at the plus minus numbers with how the Hawks are with him off the court versus how they are with him on the court, especially defensively, he's a bit of a liability, and he has to score points. He has to get you buckets to offset that. And when he's not, he's Danny Green, man. And I know people ain't gonna really want to hear that because people love Kyle. I like Kyle too. I like Kyle as a player, and like I said, he give you max effort, but athleticism is what it is. You roll out of bed with it. You know what I mean? You come out the room with it, or you don't have it at all. And Kyle's a dude who he's a specialty dude. And what most specialty dudes do is come off the bench. This dude, he's not only a starter, he's expected to be a main contributor night in and night out.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
Every night, yeah.
That's difficult. So that's another area. I think the Hawks are going to have to address that. And maybe they should have addressed it during the playoffs. Maybe they should have tried Kyle coming off the bench so that he's working against second-team guys instead of working against the primary.
And really being able to get his. And really being able to get out. Yeah.
I don't know. But, I guess that's going to wrap up our Hawks conversation, man. We put a bow on the season, man. Congratulations to the Hawks for what they did accomplish, falling a couple games short. But, thus is life. It don't happen that way in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen.
I think nobody had more D-leaguers than the Hawks
Well,
in the conference finals.
well, it just don't happen. You don't improve by 22 games, and all of a sudden you just win a championship. So